Hello, in this video we are going to learn how to draw a Christmas tree. It's just a very simple Christmas tree, as you can see, but it helps show the dimension a little more and the form a little more. It's not so flat like your traditional Christmas tree. And I'll show you a couple of very simple coloring techniques to make your life a little easier as you're coloring things. So gather together any drawing supplies you have, crayons, markers, colored pencils, Sharpies, anything you have, just gather it up and get it together and get a piece of paper, and then we'll get started. Okay, so first thing, we want our paper going up and down where it's tall and skinny, and then we're going to fold it in half, top to bottom, lining up the corners, make a nice crease. Then fold it in half one more time. Line up the corners, make a nice crease. Then open it back up, flatten it out, and now we can see the different parts. And we can see the middle from top to bottom, side to side. That helps you get it in the right size and at the right place. Then we're going to start off by drawing our tree. We're in the top half of the page. We're going to start right about here, and I'm going to make a line and draw it light because you are going to erase almost all of this line and adjust it. So draw super duper light, but I'm starting right here, right on the middle, and I'm making a line that comes down. Same thing over here. Down. So basically I just made a really light triangle. Okay, now I'm moving to the bottom portion of my page, and the tree is going to continue. This is going to continue down to about right here. So I'm making a point where I want it to be. And then it's symmetrical, meaning it's the same on both sides. So I'll have a point over here as well. Now, I think my angle was a little off when I was coming down, because if this line keeps going, you can see I'm not going to hit that point. So I'm going to have to adjust it a little bit. This is partially what I was talking about earlier when I said to draw light. So I'm having to kind of do it real sketchy and kind of meet in the middle to get it in the right place. And so now I can erase the parts that were wrong. But again, we're going to adjust it even more, so stay with it being light. And then same thing over here. And just this one was a lot better. It wasn't as off on this one. Alright, so now I have a really large triangle, and then the bottom, now I'm not going to do a straight line across, it's actually going to be a curve. It's going to come down to about this point. And so it's just like a cone. Cones are basically like a three-dimensional triangle without the sides. A pyramid would be with the sides. And so I've got a curved bottom, and I've got my top. So I've got my basic shape of my Christmas tree. Okay, so now we're going to draw the star at the top of our tree. And stars can be a little tricky. They're kind of hard. So don't be too hard on yourself if it's not perfect. Because, of course, nobody's perfect. Okay, you could even have, like, the most famous professional artist, Leonardo da Vinci, could be sitting here, and he still makes mistakes. Or would have. He's long gone. So, for the star, I'm going to start with a small triangle there. Then I have two sides that come straight out. Then they come down at an angle. Then I have, it's like a little leg that comes out. And then they meet in the middle. And there is my little star. And again, it's not perfect. It's a little lopsided, but I'm not going to worry about that. Then we're going to draw the kind of branch, bushy part of the tree. So what we're going to be doing is we're going to use this as like almost like a form that we're drawing on top of, and we're going to do it in segments. So I'm drawing the kind of little wispy branches of the Christmas tree on each side, and notice I'm just drawing right over that original triangle. But I'm also going to do it here. And so that's my first segment. So when I color later, I'll outline it and then color it in. Then I come down here and I do it again. This one won't have quite as much detail though. Come out a little bit, and then I just kind of do a jagged zigzag line. So there's the next one. Then I do it again. And so basically I'm using that original triangle as like a form or a foundation to draw on. And again, draw light because you know you're going to erase. Like here, you see how you can see just a little bit of that original triangle underneath? So good thing I drew light, because now I can go back and I can erase those little parts that are showing. And then I'm going to keep going. I don't know if you can hear that, but kindergarten's in lunch right now, and there's interesting sounds coming from that direction. Part of the adventure of being next door to the cafeteria. It's never boring. Alright, and so I'm just going to keep going down until basically I've drawn the whole tree. So it's basically just keep going. Try to keep it kind of even on each side. If you notice, I'm drawing the sides, and then I do the parts that connect it. Because otherwise it could get pretty uneven. And if you want to, alter it and make yours, a little different, nothing wrong with that. You are the artist. It is your picture. And again, I'm just kind of erasing where you can see that underlying triangle. We're getting close. Just need a few more of these. As you can see, it gets a little bigger as it goes down, because it's also getting closer to you. Alright, and then one more. This will be the final one. There we go. And then underneath, I'm going to make just a little tree trunk, not too much. If you can see the base of it, it'll probably depend on how much room you have. Alright, and again, I'm going through and just erasing a little bit of the triangle. After I Sharpie this, I'm going to get rid of even more of the pencil. Alright. Okay, so now I need to make my horizon line. The horizon line is going to be kind of low on the page, and it's going to be kind of hilly because we're pretending that there's lots of snow on the ground. And then I'm going to make a little moon in the sky, like a crescent moon. And we will have snow falling, but we will do that when we color because, it's easier that way. Alright, so now we're ready to Sharpie. Now when you Sharpie, you have a choice. You could go with just the traditional black when you Sharpie, or you could use colors if you have colored Sharpies. You could use your Crayola markers, but they tend to smear a lot, so keep that in mind. So I'm going to go get my colored Sharpies. I'll be right back. Okay, so I have a green Sharpie now, but again, if you don't have one, you can use your black, or you can use crayons or regular markers. But I am Sharpieing over what I just did. I am not Sharpieing that original triangle. I'm just Sharpieing the part that went top. keep going. I'm going to fast forward. You can hit pause to finish sharpening yours, and then I'll show you the next step. Okay, so I finished with my green Sharpie. Now I'm going to take my brown Sharpie, if I have one. Am I sure? Yeah, I do have one. If you don't have the brown, it's totally fine. Use your black, use a crayon, or a brown Crayola marker, or Crazy Art, or whatever brand you have. And so there's the trunk of my tree. I'm just putting a little bit of like wood grain on there, which is basically just some little lines. Then I'm going to go up here to the star, and I'm going to do that one with yellow. I'm going to try to kind of do it on the inside so I don't have too much of that pencil trapped in there. I mean, some of it's probably going to get trapped in there anyway. And I'm going to, instead of just outlining it in yellow, I'm coloring the whole thing with yellow because it's so small and we want it to be nice and bright. I'm going to make some little, I'm glowing lines. These are similar to the movement lines, but it's showing that light is radiating out. I'm going to leave the middle alone for right now. Okay, and now I need to erase. Oh, hang on. Well, actually, since that's going to be white, what I'll do is I'm just going to take this kind of lighter blue and outline the snow, maybe the moon, and then I'll show you later what I'm going to do to remedy this. All right. Now I can get my eraser and erase all the pencil that you can see. And I'm trying to find my eraser. There we go. And so I'm going to go and erase any pencil I can see the best I can. Alright, so I'm going to fast forward. You can hit pause to erase yours. And I'll show you what's next. Okay, so I erased all the pencil I could now. I did a pretty good job of getting rid of most of it. Like I said, you can still see some around the yellow, but that's just part of working with yellow. Now I'm going to do my Christmas ornaments. Now they're just going to be little round balls, and you need to decide what colors you want them to be. Now again, I'm using these Sharpies because Miss Boyle's got me these really cool, awesome Sharpies. If you don't go to our school, she's our principal. So I'm using these, and I'm just picking out the colors that I like. You could use regular Crayola markers. You could use your crayons. Basically anything that has color. Oh. I'm not quite sure how that happened or how that's going to come off on the recording, but I guess we will see. Alright, so I'm just going to take it one color at a time. And just make little balls all over, and I'm just kind of staggering and spreading out the different colors. Notice I'm not doing like the whole outlining and coloring anything. I'm just using the marker for the whole thing. If you're using Crayola markers, same thing. Use them for the whole thing. If you're using crayons, same thing. Regardless of what you're using, it could also be colored pencils. Alright, and so I'm going to just keep doing this with all of the colors. So you can hit pause and then come back, and I'm going to fast forward and then come back. Okay, so I finished my ornaments. You could also pretend they're lights or both. But I'm going to do one more thing for my snow before I begin coloring with my crayons. And I got a darker blue, a lighter blue, and a gray. Now again, it doesn't have to be a Sharpie. It could be the Crayola markers, it could be crayons, it could be anything. But basically you just want a couple of blues and maybe a gray. And I'm just going to put some kind of lines on here. Just kind of here and there, and it's just kind of suggesting almost like the light reflecting off of the snow, maybe the moonlight or something, and just to give it a little bit of that color, but without having to color it solid with that color. Because one thing I have learned since we've been doing all this virtual stuff, and I am making everything with you for all the classes and grades, it's making me appreciate when you have to color a really large space. That's tiring and it's hard to color in one direction. So sometimes you need to learn a few little tricks to make it easier for yourself. And this is one of them. All right, super simple. All right, so now I am going to switch to my crayons. Okay, so I have my green crayon for my tree, and I have a blue and a gray for my snow. I'm going to start with my tree, and I am just going to color right on top of those ornaments. And now I'm thinking I probably should have done them after I colored the tree. Now I'm a little mad at myself for not thinking of that, but it'll still look okay. Maybe I'll put a little note under mine when I'm doing the ornaments to hold off and color the branches first. Now notice the direction I am coloring. In each little section I'm going up and down because that's the direction the pine needles would be going in real life. So you use the color, the direction you're coloring to help suggest and make the look that you want in your picture. Have it work with you, not against you. And so I'm just going to keep doing this till I color the whole tree. Notice I'm doing it kind of soft and light. I'm not pressing down really hard. So I'm going to fast forward to finish my tree. You can hit pause, and then I'll show you how we're going to do the snow. Okay, now for the snow, because remember I took a dark blue marker, a lighter blue marker, and a gray, and I just did these little lines to kind of suggest light reflecting off of the snow. So now I'm going to take, this is a blue, this is the cerulean blue, and I'm going to color side to side. I'm coloring softly, and I'm using it to just work with those lines that I did. It's a lot easier to do a large space with a crayon than it is a marker. When you're coloring with a marker, one, it starts to run out of ink pretty quickly, and two, the direction you color is really, really obvious. So if you forget what you're doing for a moment and you switch directions, it's very obvious. Everyone will be able to tell. With a crayon, it's a little more camouflaged. And look, boom, done. Super easy. I'm going to go over it with a little gray in just some areas, just to give the color some variation. That means some areas are different than others. Oh, time for bingo.
Happy bingo time! Time for 2 more numbers, everybody. Are you ready? Get your cards out. Get ready. This round we have N, as in Santa's nose, although it's not the case.
I'll be back. Alright, I'm back. Sorry about that. I only got one number. I had the N35. If you're watching this later, we were doing this December of 2020, and the teachers are having a bingo game just for fun. Alright, so back to the picture. Now I've got my tree trunk, and I've got a brown. For my tree trunk, I'm going to color up and down, because that is the color the wood grain, or the direction the wood grain goes. Alright? Then I have my moon. I got out a blue-green for my moon. I'm just coloring it real soft. And I know that's not exactly a traditional color for a moon. Now I'm adding a little gray. But I wanted to do it a little different, especially because of the star on top of my tree. I didn't want them kind of competing with each other to catch your eye. Now for the snow. Now, like I was talking about earlier, when you're coloring a really large space, doing it with a marker most of the time is a really bad idea because, again, it runs out of ink, it shows the direction you're coloring too much, and it's really tiring too. It's easier to use a crayon or to come up with another plan. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take my different blues. I got the lighter blue, I got kind of a turquoise blue, I've got a navy blue, I've got a bright blue, and I am going to use them for my snow. What I'm going to do is I'm going to take them and just make some little dots. Now don't go crazy cuckoo with it. And don't go too fast. When you go too fast, you end up with like a little line, and you want it to be more of a dot. Move these out of the way. It's just kind of like a peppering of snow. So like there's the first color. And I'm going to stop because I don't want it to get too carried away. Now I've got, more your just traditional blue. Now again, this could be done with any brand of marker, crayons, or colored pencils. My personal opinion and preference is to do it with markers, just because I think you can see it better. But you could do crayons or colored pencils. Just be careful you don't break your crayons and colored pencil by doing it too hard. Notice I'm not making a ton of noise while I'm doing it. If you're no, you shouldn't be doing that. Especially if you're in school in person up here on campus. That drives your teachers crazy, including me. All right, and then I just have one more. I have the navy. And then again, that just makes it a little easier. Now, if you wanted to take like a navy blue or a black or blue and color the whole sky solid, yeah, go for it. I just wanted you to know that there are other options that you have. And there is my Christmas tree. And that is it. So, again, if it's still December 2020 and you want to show it to me, you can email it to me. Use the art show form that is on this page where you found this video. Or if you're in person, you can, of course, show it to me. If it's way in the future, then kudos to you. Okay? So, happy December, and thank you for watching.